Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of a replay between Glade and Az here on Axis of Industry. Gonna go ahead and start up this game once again as both sides continue to mine. We do see that the Stalkers were able to deal enough damage to this one hatchery over here, and this hatchery has once again been taken down by Glade. So all sides have taking a lot of damage so far, and very nicely done by Az warping in another pylon into this position, so all of these Zerglings would not be able to run up. I'm not exactly sure how Glade knew that that pylon was being warped in right at that time and then not deciding to engage here. But now these Zerglings trying to put pressure over here. We do see that Az has yet to warp in another Nexus here. So Az very behind economically speaking, only mining off of 4 mineral patches. 12 mineral patches, and these mineral patches are not even fully saturated. Taking a look at the harvester count, we see Az getting about 800 minerals a minute. Meanwhile, we see Glade getting about 400 minerals a minute. As Glade also doing long distance mining off of this mineral patch as well. One spine crawler in that position. That one spine crawler may start to take some damage as that creep recedes around it. And this hatchery is in this position, will be able to be completed in just a second. And as that hatchery completes, that spine crawler will get some creep love. Back over here, we now see some sentries dropping in as well. Stalkers trying to come in and deal more and more damage, perhaps trying to get a last hit onto that Overseer. And if it's able to kill that Overseer, we'll be able to warp in some Dark Templars. However, unable to do so as there's a lot of drones here. Glade should be transferring these drones in just a second, as now that Warp Prism trying to move out. Warp Prism with a movement speed of 2.5. So the same now as a medevac. The medevac recently had its movement speed reduced from 2.75 to down to 2.5. We now see an additional gateway here, and we also see Glade having two changelings in this position, will be able to fend off this attack, and now morphing in an Archon. So not 100% sure why he's morphing in an Archon. Perhaps he's going to pick it up into that Warp Prism and then drop it down on the other side. No, he is just going to drop it down over here and perhaps try to do an engagement here. We do see one observer in the air, a couple of changelings now making their way over here. However, changelings will not be able to walk up this ramp. Those photon cannons will be able to see those changelings before those changelings are able to see those photon cannons. And because of that, those photon cannons will fire at those changelings rather quickly. So moving in over here, we now see an observer coming in. This observer able to gain sight and now sees that Glade has a hatchery over here. So really what Az needs to do is take down this hatchery. If he's able to confine Glade into only 2 base play, or even take down this one hatchery as well, he will be able to take the game. However, now we see a game changer as Glade switches into Ultralisk and Infestors. Infestors able to spawn infested Terrans and also able to get that fungal growth off. So if he's able to get that fungal growth off and then have those Ultralisks just chomp away at any standing Ultralisk, that will be in fact a lot of damage. We do see this one Overseer still sitting here. One of the things I don't get is if you have an Overseer in such a dominant position, just start constantly contaminating production buildings. If you're able to contaminate them, they're unable to do anything there. As now Zealots were able to morph, just run into this position off of this one Warp Prism here. So this Warp Prism doing a drop into the base, and down goes this hatchery. The hatchery only having 1,250 hit points. So this group of Zealots was able to take it down rather quickly. Ultralisk now making their way over as well. Ultralisk with those Kaiser Blades dealing 19 damage per attack. However, the Broodlings were able to finish off the job there. Ultralisk now trying to make their way up this ramp and trying to figure out if there is anything in here. Perhaps a proxy pylon, doesn't see anything and now decides to pull back once again. However, in comes this Warp Prism. Warp Prism now taking some damage as well from this Queen. Queen having 2 armor and no weapons upgrade. As this Warp Prism now trying to figure out where exactly it can do a drop onto this base. We need to see some Void Rays at this time. Oh, very nicely done. Near a fungal growth followed by a couple of infested Terran, and down goes one Warp Prism. So any additional harassment will be pretty much thwarted. We do see that there are more Archons now being warped into play. Archons are generally strong against Ultralisks. Ultralisks take additional damage from Archons, while Ultralisks do not deal additional damage. However, Archons do attack much slower, so that may be a difference here. As that Archon tries to fight back and forth, we do see that the Kaiser Blades are dealing more damage and now spawning infested Terrans into the base. So Az now going to be forced to deal with a lot of infested Terrans. Infested Terrans attack or are as strong as upgraded Marines, 2-0 Marines, and this is how strong they are, just able to constantly fight around. However, these infested Terrans getting taken down by that Archon, and now Ultralisk able to just come in. So these Ultralisks able to start chomping away with those Kaiser Blades, dealing a lot of damage towards these buildings and some of these probes as well. Probes trying to run away, however, getting within splash range on these Ultralisks. Ultralisks have a range of 1 on their attack, so it is not exactly a melee attack. as these units continue to move around. So Ultra is able to have a front radial attack and now is trying to slice down this one Nexus over here and now going to finish off the rest of these buildings. You can see the second pylon also taking damage from that front attack. Back over here, Zerglings now simply swarming into the base, and Az not keeping up with his production, unable to hold off this attack. A couple Void Rays, perhaps 2 or 3 Void Rays fully charged, would have been able to deal very, very well with all of these Ultralisks. We do see some Infestors now walking around, and one Dark Templar. However, the Dark Templar being revealed by the Spore Crawler. So this detector able to reveal the cloak here, and now we see the Infestors coming into this position. Dark Templars want to just try to take down this hatchery. Hatchery, will not get taken down to 29 hit points, and Glade able to stay in this game economically even further. So things are just going to continue to go south for Az. Az now trying to get more and more gateways over here, also trying to get some photon cannons and trying to warp in sentries. Sentries are not going to deal anything for you at this stage. However, even though sentries are not going to be able to do anything with that force field, as Ultralisks are able to walk through force field, he does not have any of the necessary tech buildings to warp in and build anything else. So all he can really build is Stalkers, Zealots, and Sentries. Ultralisks just completely rip through and tear down Stalkers very, very easily as these Ultralisks now make their way across the map. Ultralisks dealing 43 damage in attack, so that is such a high amount of damage against Stalkers, especially when you consider that there is slight splash on them on a unit that really likes to just group together here. We do see some Zerglings now pecking away here. One force field. That force field not going to do anything as that Ultralisk able to just barrel right through it. And now down go these photon cannons, and Az is forced to say GG. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed Game 1 in this Best of 7 series between Az and Glade here on Axis of Industry. Stay tuned for Game 2. I believe Game 2 is on Steps of War. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, stay tuned for Game 2.